Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Mohan.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So before we start, we will revise what we have seen in the last class. Okay. So since it is an important concept, we will revise it one more time. Okay. So we have seen about the component container and then the component and then the metadata of the components like routes, routing, and route views and everything. So what is the component container? Component container loads the component when the app gets started. In our case, Fiori Launchpad itself a component container. Okay, this is our Fiori Launchpad. This Fiori Launchpad itself is acting as a component container. So this component container has many components. Every app is identified as a component. Okay, every app identified as a component. So that is the reason component is an independent resource of the UI5 project. Okay. Before we relatively uh, goes to the views and controllers using index.html, but in our architectural changes, we have moved our index.html path to the component. Okay, so the component is independent resource of the SAP UI5 project. Fine. Later we have seen about the what are the types of components. One is the faceless component and other one is the UI component. This UI component has the capability to render the UI pages to the user, but the faceless component doesn't have the capability for the UIs. It has the capability only to bring the data from the backend. Okay, later we have seen about the concept of root app and the pages. Okay, since app will not show all the pages at a time, we have to create a separate pages, whatever the page we are trying to show in the app, and then we have to load these pages inside the root app. Okay, so and then we have seen about the component metadata. Like in the component metadata, what we had root view and then routes and then config. Okay, the routes will have every page's configuration. Correct. Configurations. The config will have the common configurations of all the pages. If two pages shares the common configuration, then those properties will be under the config segment. Okay. So later we have seen about how this navigation works. Today I will show you in the diagrammatical representation how this whole concept works. Okay, in the SAP UI5 project perspective. So let us take an example of. Let us take again. Let us consider. Sorry. Let us consider this is our browser. Okay, so we will have the URL. So if you look at the SAP UI5 project so far, what architectural changes we have done? First, we have implemented our component, correct? So insert, we have our component. Inside the component, what we had, go to our program. This is the one which we had created last class. So inside the component, what we have the metadata section. In that metadata section, we have the route view routings. Inside the routings, we have the config routes. Okay, and also we have the initialization part. In that initialization, we are getting the instance of the router and then we are getting it initialized. To perform any routing concept, we have to first initialize the router so that we will be able to achieve the routing concept. So this is our component. Let's say this is our component. So inside the component, what we have a router. We have a router. So and then we have we have the routes, correct? Which the route has, what the route will have? Route will have the page configuration. Okay, routes will have the page configuration. Inside the route, what we had? Metadata. Not inside the routes, what we had? We had the page configurations, like, okay, page configurations. So later, but what we have? We have our pages. We have our pages. So as of now in our project, we have 2 pages with 2 controllers. Okay, this is a page 1, this is a page 2, this is page 3, and this is page 4. Okay, so these pages are linked with the root app, linked with the root app. So whenever I want to load this page, I cannot individually load this page. I have to point it to the root app. This root app will load the page for me. Okay, in the same way, this page is also. So the page will have the link. Sorry, this is the controller for us. Controller 1, controller 2. So the controller 1 will have the link between the page 1. The controller 2 will have the link between the page 2. So whatever the event we are performing in the page 1, it will go to the controller and execute those events. The same way, whatever we are doing the event in the page 2, it will go to the controller and execute. So here, when you this, make it as a browser. Okay, this is our app. So when you run the app, what it gets generated? First of all, let me run this app. Okay, let me run this app. It gets generated an URL, correct? It generates an URL. So paste this URL here. Okay, it's not coming. I'll say HTTP. Our host will be there. After that, our app path will be there. Okay, so assume that this is our URL. Fine. So whenever this URL getting generated, as per the UI5 architecture, it goes to the router first. The router will always checks if there is any change in the URL. Okay, so and also checks for the pattern along with the hash. Since SAP UI5 supports the hash based navigation, so it checks if there is any hash. Okay, since in the first URL, the first generated URL, since we don't have any hash here, see, there is no hash here. It is ending with preload is equal to off. Okay, since there is no hash here, what it will do, it will come here. This router will check the URL first. The router will check the URL first. So the router, what it will do, it will check the URL and for the pattern as well. Since there is no pattern available, what it will do, it goes to the routes. Okay, it goes to the routes. See, this router will always check for the URL changes. Okay, it always listens to the URL changes in the browser. Since there is no hash, I mean hash based navigation, in the first URL, what it will do, it goes to the routes. In the routes, it checks for the pattern which is null. Okay, so here the pattern is having some value, so this is not a matching pattern. So it checks for the matching pattern along with the URL. Since the URL doesn't have any pattern, since it is having null, so it loads this page as the first page. Inside where? Inside the root view, based on the ID app. Where will I find the ID app? If I go to the root view, see I have the ID app. Inside the ID app, I am telling to place my page, this page, customer list page, using the aggregation called pages. Okay, so what it is doing, it listens to the URL, and since there is no hash based navigation, it goes to the routes. It goes to the routes, and check for the matching pattern. Okay, it will check for the matching patterns. Here the pattern is null, so it is checking for the null pattern. So what is a null pattern here? We have for this null pattern, which view is tagged, the customer list view is tagged. What is a customer list view? This is our customer list view. Whatever we are seeing right now, this is our customer list view. So it loads the page. So it loads the page. The routes will identify the page and then make which page to get it loaded. If it is a page 1, so it loads the page 1. If it is a page 2, it loads the page 2. Loads the page 2. Through what? Through the root app. Okay, through the root app, it loads the pages. Okay, whenever the page is loaded, the init function of the controller will also get loaded. How do we know if the init function of the controller is already getting loaded? If we go and execute, inspect, I'm running the app again. If we go to the network, see it gives you in the order which component is executing first. So the list customer list view has been executed. At the same time, the customer list controller is also getting executed. Okay, so right now it checks for the hash. Since there is a null pattern, so it goes to the page which has the null pattern, and then it executes the page in the root app. So for example, if I click on anything, for example a button or a list or something, if I click on something, it goes to the controller first and checks for the function, what function I have implemented here. So in our case, what is the event handler here? This is a list item. So in the list item, I have implemented the event handler called on list item press. So where will I find this event handler? I will find this event handler in the controller. So if go to the controller, check for this event. Okay, this event is there. Whenever I press the item, this event gets executed. So in this event, what functionality I have written? I have written to navigate to the other page which has the name ncust.info. What is the ncust.info? This is our ncust.info. Okay, so now we will see. I will set the breakpoint. Yeah, we have a debugger already. Now I will execute. Inspect. Yes. So right now we don't have any pattern. That's the reason the first view gets loaded. So if I click on this thing, see here, the debugger has stopped me in this event. Let me check the URL. There is no pattern added. So let me go one step forward. Let me go one step. Here I am getting the router for this component. Okay. The router is available where? It is available in the component. See, it is available in the router is available in the component. If you want to access the route, you have to first get the reference of the component and then you have to get the reference of the router. Using the reference of the router, you can access the routes. So you cannot access the routes directly without getting the reference of the component and as well as the router. Okay, so it comes here. So now here it is getting the reference of the router now. So using the router, I am navigating to the page called ncust.info. What is the ncust.info? If I go here in the component, Control C, Control F, so it goes to this page. What is the view attached to this name? Customer info dot view dot xml. I need this page to be shown when I press the event. Okay, so I go here. See, let me check if there is any change in the hash. There is no change. Let me click forward. See, now I have completed the naive to method, but still I am in the first page only. See here in the left side, still I am in the first page. It did not navigate. If I go here, see, there is a pattern added using hash. So let me copy this pattern. Okay. So this is our pattern. This is the value which we are taking forward to the other page. Okay. So now whenever the URL, sorry, where it goes, yeah. Whenever there is a change in the URL, what the router will do, it will check for the hash. Okay, since there is a hash, it will take this pattern and it will take this pattern as well as the value and goes to the routes. Okay, it goes to the routes here. Once it goes to the routes, see in the component, once it goes to the routes, it will check for its pattern, matching pattern. Okay, in our Excel, see, this is our pattern. What was the pattern before? It was our pattern before. Okay, it checks the matching pattern in our routes. Okay, the router will check the matching pattern in our routes. So what is the matching pattern here? This is the matching pattern we have found in our routes.
But the notice period is 2 months for them. So if it would be okay,
Hello?
then I can leave their contact.
Vivek, can you go for mute?
Okay, so whenever there is a pattern change, the router finds the pattern and goes to the routes and check for the equivalent pattern. If the pattern gets matched with the routes, if this pattern gets matched with the URL route, whatever the URL we have given, if it gets matched, then what it will do, it will check for the particular page which it tagged to. See, this is the view which it gets tagged to. Okay, so right now the route will take the control forward to this particular view, customer info. This is our second page, so it requires the second page to be loaded under the root tab. So now the root tab will display the page 2. When the page 2 displays, the controller of the init function also gets loaded. So whenever you click on something, whenever you do some operations, whenever you want to handle the events, then the respective event handler methods will be executed in the controller. Fine. So this is the complete concept of the routing. Anyone has any doubt?
Hey Mohan, I must have missed that part. Can you
Okay.
explain one more time what is the requirement of using the metadata section in the component?
Yeah. So here.
I mean, yeah, on the component file we have used a metadata tag.
Yeah.
Can you explain how this metadata is coming here?
See, actually, here you are trying to extend the UI component. Okay, you are not using the parent class. See, if I go here in the SDK, if I go here, if I say UI component, there are two types of components in the UI5.
Yeah,
One is faceless component, and another
faceless
one
and
is UI component.
UI component.
So if I go here, let me explain you in the developer guide instead of this. I'll go to the component metadata. See, actually we have two types of components. One is faceless and another one is UI component. So right now we want to show our page to the user. through app. So in that case, we have to use the class called sap.ui.core.component. Since it is an abstract class, we cannot use this class for the implementation, correct? So we have to go with the subclass. So if I go here, if I go to this component, so here I have to create a subclass using the extent. So this class I have used here in the extent. So when you want to add more functionality than the original class, I mean the parent class, you have to add all those configuration using the metadata. Okay. So using the metadata, you have to add your configurations. So this is the additional properties of your extended class. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Got it back.
So yeah. So any doubts? So if you want to know what kind of properties this metadata should hold, you can go to the developer guide and check for the component metadata. You will have every information here. So it basically has 3 sections like a root view, routing. Inside the routing we have config, and inside the routing again we have routes. So this is the same thing what we have implemented here. Okay, the route view, routing. Inside the routing we have config and routes. So if you see here, inside the routing we have config and routes. Same thing we have implemented. Okay.
Yep.
So any other doubts? Okay, we will move forward of creating the second page. Last time we have created the first page, correct? So we have implemented the first page. This is our first page. Our requirement was when I have to click this particular item, it has to display me the simple form along with the details like this. So I should display the details of the customer like this, and also I have to populate the order details. What are the orders belongs to this particular customer. So let us create the simple form first. Okay. So let me go inside. So what was first? Let me check if you are getting the value carrying forward to the next page. Okay. What is close all? So this is our first page, and this is our first controller. Yeah, we are navigating here. The second page, I have to capture the value. Yes, in the first class itself, we have captured the value in the OCast. So there is a debugger. Let us check if we are getting the data first of all. See, before it generates a second view, it has gone to the second views controller, the init function. Okay, that is why I have told you here. Whenever you run the second page or first page, the controller runs in the same time parallelly. The controller's on init function, okay, only on init function will run parallelly with your page. So it gets into the on init function, and let us check. Okay, so it stopped here, so it is success. Okay, let me check the parameter OData. So here we have got the data here, so we can access it. So I'll go here. What I will do, I will create a model for the data which we have got. So I'll go with the JSON one. What is our syntax for the JSON model? JSON model. Take this syntax. New JSON model. What it should hold? It should hold OData. This is the data we are populating inside the model. You cannot directly attach the data to the view. It should be going through the model. So I have to attach the model again to the view. this dot get view dot. What is a view? This is my view. Let me add one ID to it. ID page, ID cust info page. So how can I access this page inside the controller? I can access through the method called by ID. By ID. Now the page is referred here. Along with it, I can say set model. What is the model here? Model, let's say model 2. So now I have defined the model and I have set it to the view. Let me go to the view and then add. If I need customer ID, we'll take the customer ID. It should show ANATR. Let me go inside and run it again. So if I coming here, so before it displays the second page, first it is executing the onInit function of the controller. So come here, went to the second page. Now let us check. The method under the function call. Okay, so this should always refer to the controller, not to this function. Right now this keyword is referring to this function call, but this keyword should always refer to the controller. So what I can do, I can
We do that and use.
sorry, that is equal to this.
That is already defined, Mohan.
Sorry.
That
Yeah,
is already
sorry.
defined.
Yeah, I didn't see. Sorry that. So we can use that. See, we have got the value which we have selected in the previous page. So if I say BERGS, I should get BERGS. So the hash is one of the important thing for carrying the value forward to the other of pages it can have. It can carry your value of the current page to the next page. That is a big advantage of this hash based navigation. And also you can bookmark it. When you start the app, you can bookmark your URL along with the route pattern. You can directly move to that particular page using the hashtag. Okay, so let us create a simple form in this page.
Mohan,
Hello, hi.
in this hash navigation, I mean, is it not a
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Hello, hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, your voice is so
fine.
disturbed. Yeah, tell me.
So the question is like in this hash navigation, since we are showing in the URL the speakers and the ANATR, right?
Yeah.
So it won't be a security threat because the user will be able to see what's this particular field is coming like
But
this.
the user will not be able to see your code, right? The component, whatever the roles you have defined in your code, he will not be able to see. Only
He
you will
won't
be
be.
able to see as a only you will be able to see as a developer.
Okay.
When he try to get inside, like for example, if he's I am the end user, for example, if I click like this, it will go like this. But I can bookmark this page.
Okay,
the user
but there
obviously
is a
bookmark this page, but it will show only whenever I execute this bookmark, it will show only this value. It will not show other value. So it is like
but in
our
the UR,
bookmarking.
but in the URI,
Yeah.
there is a pcast and this. So yeah. So see, this is the value is coming, right? So this is
Yes.
not an issue, security threat. I mean,
No, that would be an issue, right? Because see, for example, if you are in Gmail, if you are clicking on one email, you will obviously see your URL appended to the particular tag.
okay,
You can observe that. So that is not the security issue for you anyway.
okay,
It's just navigating to the page which it is tagged to. That's it.
okay,
The end user never know what it is unless he is a developer.
okay,
But I don't think there is any security issues for it.
okay. Thank you.
Because anyways, yeah.
Yeah, continue, please.
Yeah, because anyways you are going to see the values here in the page. What is there in the security issues of this particular URL? There is nothing, right? Because you are going to see the whole complete values of the particular list in the next page. So since you are authorized to see that particular URL, the app, so you can see it. No other person can see it, right? Unless he has access to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So.
So let me go to the second view, and since we are getting the value, we can create our simple form. Okay, so let me remove this. The page, what I will do, what is the syntax for the simple form? IMPLE for column goes to the simple form here. Take this simple form class and place it here. Check if this library already has the XML namespace. Since there is no XML namespace for this library, it is better to create. So XML namespace form. Fine. So inside the simple form, what properties we have? We have check. We will use the layout property. What this layout will have? This has 3 layouts. I will go with the responsive grid layout. Okay. So let us check for other properties of the simple form. Layout. As of now, nothing is required. So let me close this. So in the simple form, what it says, expected. So it should be form. So in the simple form, what I'm going to show, I'm going to create 2 columns. One is customer, one is online. Okay. So this column properties tells by this particular property, max container columns. Since it has default 2, I did not mention there. For your information, I'm mentioning it there for column 2. So what it will do, whenever you create a page, it divides into 2. Okay, this is one container and this is one container. Okay, since you have specified this max container columns 2, the page will hold 2 containers. Okay, so if I go to this simple form here, they have mentioned it clearly. So a new title starts a new group, that is form container in the form. Whenever you start with a new title, okay, it start as a new container. Okay, if I say a title address, if I take a title info, if I say a title customers, so how many containers will be created? It creates 3 containers. When there is a title, when the new title starts a new group I mean the form container in the form gets created. So I have created 3 titles here. So I should see 3 containers like address, info, and then another container will be added here. Another container will be added here as a customer. Since a page can hold only 2 containers in the same row, that is what we have defined it here. What we have defined, maximum container columns. The same single parallelly, it creates 2 containers. If you add third container, it goes down. Okay, it goes down. This scenario, the same scenario we have seen in our second class, I guess. So I will create the title first. So I will go with the title. Go with the title. So since this library doesn't have any XML namespace, we have to define the XML namespace for this. I'll say core.
Mohan, I think title itself is an aggregation.
Sorry.
The title itself is an aggregation. We have it under content.
Okay, this one. Yeah. We can use it. Sorry, I didn't see this one. This is under again the same library, sap.ui.core.title. If I go here and check the title, see sap.ui.core.title, the same one, we can use it, no problem. I will. If you want to mention the aggregation, still you can mention, otherwise it is fine. Because the same controller is available in the content aggregation. So there is no need to mention the aggregation. Title, what title belongs to sap.ui.core, right? Core. What is the property of the title? Go here, check text. What text we want to suppose? The customer. Now I have to add all the labels and then text. So let me go here and check. See, when there is a new label starts, a new row in the form is started. So if I say text name, if I say input null, if I say a text age, say input nothing, if I say a text address, say a text street. So how the visualization will be? It will be name, there will be a box, text box, it will be again age. So whenever you start with a label, whenever you start with the label, it should be label. Sorry guys, it should be label. So whenever you start with the label, it creates a new line. So for age, we have another input. For again the label address, we don't have anything. Again, street will be like this. So like this, it forms the form. So in the same way, we will create label. We know what is the labels property. Text is the first label. Customer ID. So we should have the text to store the value. Text will have the same property called text. So the value should come from the OData. So here I can assign customer ID. Let me check if I am able to get the simple form. See, I'm able to get the simple form, kind of simple form. We have to create the page title as well. So go here and create title. It is a title, customer information. Let me check if we have the title also. Yes, we have got the title. Now we have to create the remaining text. Okay. Whenever I start with the label, it creates a new line. So text is equal to company name label. Label's property is text. So it should come from the OData. Contact name. Is a label contact title. Address. This control always should be a capital text, okay, capital letter. You have to take it from the SDK. Otherwise, it will show you an error. Text is again from OData. Label text. We had address city. Label text phone. What is the text for the label? Fax. So right now we have created a single container. Let me check what is the company name. Let me go to the OData Northwind and check for the field names. Customers, we have company name. So we have the company name, then the contact name. Later we have the contact title, address, city. We had address, city, phone, fax, address, city, city. What is the value of phone? Phone will be like this, and then fax. Okay, let me check if we are able to get the details. Only we are getting it for. Okay, we have to relatively. Yes. We didn't get the value for fax. Let me check. What is the value for fax? It is same. If I say C, I want to get the customers starting with C. Let's say, yeah, we have everything we have got. So right now we have to create one more container called online. Let's say, so if I want to create a new container, what I have to start with? I have to start with the title. What exactly it is? Contact. Let's say contact us. So for every new line, we should have the label. So label text will be web text. Text will be, I will hardcode like http www.sap.com. Twitter SAP UI5. Okay, we can create the links as well. I will create the link for the sap.com. Okay, what is the syntax for link? Go to the SDK and check for the link control, and you will be able to see the link. Let me add the link for this one. Okay, I'll remove this one. Command link. What is the properties of the link? We have what kind of text we need in the link. We can say SAP portal and then go here.
href.
I want it enabled. Enable true. And what we have the href. What it holds? It holds. It should hold the URL, but let's check. Href http. Let us check if we have. So close the link. Now let us check. So it creates the page. It is taking us to the page. Okay. So let me. Where is our page? So right now we have achieved a simple form. Whatever is there in the output page, we have achieved the simple form. Now we have to pull the orders which is related to the customers. Okay. Now we'll see how we can achieve this. See, this is again a list. Okay. This is again a list. So to include this, we have to add the list control again. So after the simple form, I want to add a list. The list, what I will have, where is the list? Yes, we have the list here. Take the list. Okay, we have already the list. What are the properties we have? Since column is duplicated, we cannot use this list. So we can use the header text for the list first of all. Orders list, and then what we want. So the heading we need only that. So if I go inside the list, what aggregation I have? I have items. So inside the items, I have to display my list. This we have seen almost 4-5 classes. So we will check, since there is no aggregation again, I mean there is no properties which will get us the list. So we have to go to the parent class. In the parent class also we are not getting, we don't get any particular aggregation to control. So what we have to do, we have to go to the subclass. We have seen about display list item and then standard list, object list, column list. We have seen. So we can use any of this. Let me use the display list item. Okay, so let me use the display list item. Go here and check the label value. It should always be end. We have the value. Let me check if you are getting this test data there. So you are getting the test data here. So value should come from the OData. Now let us go to the controller. Let me add. Here we have added everything. Okay. So where it is out, okay, so inside we will add. Binding we can do two ways, correct? We know that we can do the binding in two ways. One is in the XML at the XML view, and another one is in the controller level. So far we have done all the aggregation in the XML. Today we will do in the controller. Okay, so we will check how we can do in the controller. We'll say what is the aggregation binding. Go to the sap.ui. I'm in the controller. So since we are going to do the aggregation for the list, let me add an ID for the list. ID cust info list. ID cust info list. So here, how can I access this ID now? This dot get view dot by ID. So now I will be able to access the list. So here I have to do the bind aggregation. After the by ID, I have to do bind aggregation. Here we have a syntax for bind aggregation. Take this one. So bind aggregation usually hold 3 parameters. What are all those parameters? Guys, remember? First one is aggregations. On what we are going to bind our list. Second one is the path of the O data for which we are going to aggregate. So from the path, it will bring us all the data to be aggregated. The third one will be the template, which should get cloned every time when there is an entry in the OData response. Okay, so if we have 10 entries, so this particular template should clone 10 times. Fine. So let us create a template now, where O template. What is the template actually? This is the template which we should get cloned every time. So let me comment it, put it here. In the XML view, the structure is like this. But when it comes to JavaScript, how it should be? New display list item. Take this cp.m.list item. Okay. So how we will maintain the parameters? We can maintain the parameters inside the curly braces. And what are all our properties? Label, the separator should always be the colon. If it is XML, it is equal to symbol. If it is JSON, if it is JavaScript, it is the colon. So comma value. Okay. Now we have defined the template. The label, what it should hold actually, I'll go here. Customers. So I'll say order ID and customer ID. Order ID and customer ID. So what are all the three parameters now? What is aggregation now? Bind aggregation. This is the aggregation for the list. So under this aggregation, I have to add which data? I have to add this is our sample URL, correct? So let us say URL, this one. So how we can create a variable and which holds this particular string? How we can create? We can create where vocast. I guess actually for this variable we have vocast already created, so we can use directly. How I will define? Double quote slash customers comma plus cust is our value. Okay, and concatenate. Then we will have double quotes, single quotes, double quotes. Before that, we should have orders. Okay. Now, what is a third parameter? Template. Did you understand? Did you understand this format of the URL? Like what we have done? I'll remove this again. Let me take this. So customers we have, orders we have, only thing we have to replace the value which we have captured. It can be any value. So the value variable is focused. Under this variable we have captured this value. So this is our value. So how we will concatenate this particular variable using plus symbol. So till here it is a string. Okay. Till here it is a string. So this is the value which we are getting concatenated. Okay. So let me check if we are getting the value. So if I say some D, I have got few more customers. I'll go with the GALED. It is not going to the next page. We'll see. Yes, we have our hash. Let me check why it is not going. Okay, again. It should be that. It should. This variable should always point to the controller, not to any of the thirds. So let me go and again run it. If I say some G, so till here there is no pattern available. But when I say navigate to, still my page is in the same page. But if I see the pattern, it got changed. So now what the router will do, the router will capture this particular hashtag and then go to the routes and then go to the routes where we have the routes. We have the routes in the component. It goes to the routes and check for the matched pattern. If the pattern is matched, it will display this page for us. Okay. So I'll go here. It is displaying the page for us, and we have the debugger again. So it is success now. We did not get any orders list. Let me check why we didn't get.
Should we write it as slash? Maybe we're missing slash in label and value.
Yeah, let me check why. Go to the controller. Here we have the ID, customer ID, orders, bind aggregation. It is our list. Order ID. Let me put
Mohan, my query is under O template label, we need to mention slash.
no, since it is a bind aggregation, we no need to mention slash, because if it is a relative to only one particular value, then you can mention it as a slash, like our property binding or element binding. Since it is an aggregation binding, you don't need to mention slash, because it has to capture all the values of all the records. So we should not point relatively. We will check why it is showing. Let me go back, inspect. So we have got this one. It is a debugger. So we have got it. Our template is fine.
Mohan, can you check
Hi.
by ID parameter? I think there is a spelling mistake.
Spelling mistake. Okay.
By ID parameter.
Let me go to the info. Take this ID. Go here. Oh, orders. Fine. This is fine. This is fine. And this is also fine. We have the template created. Good. Display item title. Everything is fine. Okay. Simple form we have.
Mohan,
Hi.
can we able to check the same URL outside? What I mean was like service OData organ.
Yeah, it was showing, right? See the same thing.
No, I think
Orders. Bind aggregation. Let me take it from a.ui. Controller by ID. Yes, we have the bind aggregation here. Copy, paste it. Legal. So if I go to the info, check its ID, be in the same one. ID list we have. remove and write it again. Where template, new list, standard list item. So what we have, we don't have any properties. Title, customer ID, it is the ID list, dot bind aggregation terms slash slash orders, comma, o template. Template is, yes, o template. There must be any spelling mistake, but Okay guys, we'll take 5 minutes break and then we'll start. I don't know why it is causing this error. I'll check in the meanwhile. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, man.
Oh, template. Okay. Okay. So the mistake what I have done is like, see when I set the model, see I have set this model to the complete page. Okay. So under the page I have defined the view. So what it has taken, it has taken the complete model to the list as well. That is the reason it was not showing. So what I have done is I have created one more ID for the simple form and one more ID for the list ID. So here whatever I have read from the previous page, I mean these things, whatever we have read from the previous page, I have set it only to the simple form, and whatever we are trying to read it from the OData service, I have set it to the ID list. So that is the only mistake I have done. So because of that, it went almost 20 minutes. Okay, so we have got the list of orders. Now we will see how we can wrap this up. Now we will wrap using the property called growing through growing threshold 3. See, now we got whatever we are supposed to get. We have got the list of orders. For this particular customer ID, we have 7 orders. If I go like this, if I say and then we have 4 orders. Okay, we have 4 orders for this customer. We'll check here for ANATR. ANATR, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 orders. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 orders. We have got 4 orders. So any doubt till now? Okay, we will move with the other concept called manifest dot. Hello. Okay, we will move with the other concept called manifest dot JSON. Okay, so actually if you see in the component, we have defined all our metadata, correct? Since it has only 2 routes, we were able to run quickly. But if it is the same case, like if we have 10 routes or 20 routes in a single app, so it will decrease the performance of the app. Okay, so for that SAP has come up with a new concept called manifest.json. What it will have is, it will have all the metadata of your application. Okay, this manifest will have all the metadata of your application. Okay, what it will do is, when we run the app, first it comes to the component and it loads the metadata of the manifest.json. Okay, it will load the metadatas from the manifest.json and then it will come back to the router. Fine, it preloads every settings whatever is required for the app. Fine. So because of the preload, the app will be much faster. We can able to access much faster. Okay, we will see how we will use the manifest.json. If you want to read about more on manifest.json, go to the developer guide and say manifest.json. You will have a lot of information available here. Okay, so in this manifest.json, we have 3 sections available. We have many sections, but to run the app, we have to give 3 sections as a mandatory sections. One is, I will first create the manifest.json file. Under the web app, create file manifest.json. So this is again a JSON file. How we will declare the JSON file, we have seen in the second, third, fourth classes. Like it should always start with the curly braces, and the values, the value should be name, value pair, value pairs. Okay. Yeah. So it should be like the field name here and then colon and then the value, like that. So this manifest.json has 3 sections. One is sap.ui section, another one is sap.app section, and another one is sap.ui5 section. So this sap.ui section will has the attribute of, we can see here we have the sap.ui section. It has the attribute of the types of devices the particular app can run, and the icons and the technologies whatever it is available. You can have these parameters under this sap.ui section. So right now, while coming to the app section, it will have every attributes related to your application, like the app ID. App ID means I am referring to the component namespace. So it will have the component namespace, and if you have any CDS views, you can add it there, and the models like internationalization and the types, like if it is an application or component or a library, it can have these parameters. In the training we cannot explain everything, but I will let you know what are all the important things we have to take care. Okay, so the next thing is, like, we have another section called sap.ui5. This will hold all the attributes of our pages like routes, routing, models, everything it will take care. Okay, now let me define our first section. What is our first section? I go here, I'll say sap.app. sap.app. So under that, what parameters we will have? We will have an ID. These parameters you can have under sap.app section. Right now I will go with an ID. It should always be double quotes. What is the ID meaning for here? The mandatory attribute, unique identifier of an app. What is the unique identifier of the app? We have already defined here. What is the unique identifier of the app? This is the component namespace. So this is the unique identifier of the app. So give the app here. So it is fine to have only one for SAP app as of now. Later we will define more. Okay. What is the next section? sap.ui. UI5. So in this section, sap.ui, where is that section? Yeah. Here we have sap.ui5 section. Here we can have our metadata, whatever we have defined in the component. Go to the component, take everything, cut it, paste it in the manifest.json. So we have pasted the complete metadata of our component in sap.ui5. So every string should be double quotes. I guess it has come twice. I'll remove. So that is fine. That is fine. We will try to execute the app now. Okay. See, in the component, nothing is there. I'm going to refer the manifest.json here. Okay. So in this way, your app will be much more faster than before. And also, this manifest.json provides you the central place to access all your metadata. Okay, you don't need to go to the component and check for all the routes, but you can go to the manifest.json and it provides you the easy access location for maintaining all your metadata. Fine. And also it has the capability to preload all your dependent components, libraries, themes, whatever you have. It will preload everything, and then so that your app will be much more faster than running in the component, much more faster than
Mohan spelling mistake in manifest.
Manifest where? Okay, in the component.
Yep, yeah. JSON.
Okay, sorry. So let me run the same application again. We'll see if there is any issues. So see, I'm able to run the same application again without any issues. I just cut every metadata and put it into the manifest.json. This is how we have to go with manifest.json. Is there any doubt on this? And also, if you want to go to the third page, you can create a navigation button here, and if you want to click, go back, and then do. For example, we can add in our page. We don't have back button, right? We will try to add the back button. Okay, we will add the back button in the page. We'll say show navigation button. Yes, it is a boolean, so either it will accept true or false. So navigation, I don't require anything. So if I click the navigation button, it should go to the controller. For that, I need an event. So anything you want to perform on the page, you should need an event. So since the tab is duplicated, I take button press. Okay. On, back, press. On, back to. Okay. Now let me go to the corresponding controller. How can I go back? Someone tell me.
History -1, I think.
No, based on the concept which we have done now, how can I go back? We have done the
Routing to the
routing
first
We
concept.
page.
can nav to the page 1.
Yeah, first what you have to get? Yeah, you have to get the router first before you access the routes. So this dot get owner component, because our router is in the component. So first we have to get the component and then get router. Now you have to access your route. Oh, router dot, using router you can access your route. Get route. So what is the page name that you are trying to go back? I want to go back to the N-cust list. This is my first page. So let me check. See, it came here. We have a button here. It is not going. Let me check why it is not going. I will add a debugger here. Debugger. Go here. Say press. Go here. Press this button. We have our control here. So, oh sorry. We have to use what method? Nav to. So navigate to the route, this route. It went inside. We have got the data now. If I say back, it came to the back page. Okay. We have many transition, like if you want to flip the page, if you want to hide the page, if you want to show the page, there are many transitions available. You can make use of those transitions if you want to play around. Okay. And this is all about the routings and navigations. So see, the same application we can do in a rapid manner. Okay. Rapidly we can develop. We don't need to write these many things. See, we have written from the scratch, right? This application has been created from the scratch. We did not use any template, but by using the template you can rapidly develop the same application faster. Okay, so can we see it now or we can see it on Monday?
Monday, Mohan.
Okay, so it is Friday now.
Okay. One question.
Hi. Yeah.
So if we want to give the pre-specify all the service we are going to use in our application, let's say so in which file we should put it, in this manifest.json or component.js?
Sorry, I didn't get you. If you want to use a model, like different services.
Yes.
Okay.
Different services of which file?
What data services, right? So those services will
services.
be under manifest only. No need to mention anything in the component. So you can mention in the component, but if you mention in the manifest.json, it preloads everything. Okay. Preloads, and then it will the whole model is available to the whole pages. All the pages. If you have 10 pages, the 10 pages will be able to access the same model from the manifest. Here, if you see in the controller, we have maintained the model here. See, we have maintained the model.
Maintain the model here. Yes.
Yeah. If I go to the where is that? Yeah. If I go to the first controller, this is list info. Yeah. If I go to the list, again we have maintained here like another model. Same model. Again we have declared it here. But if you use the manifest.json, it is a central place, right? So when you mention it, when you maintain this model over there, you don't need to mention this model here in the controllers. Okay. It will be able to access your model throughout the application from the manifest.json.
Mm-hmm.
So your only work will be accessing the link. I mean, accessing the path. Like if I want to get the customer of so and so, you can say model.read/customer
Mm-hmm.
open bracket and then your value and then close bracket. So that particular link will go to that manifest.json and picks your model.
Mm-hmm.
From the model, you will be able to access your data. So
Okay.
in the further classes, we don't need to declare these models and data sources
Mm-hmm.
again and again in the controller. If you
Okay.
mention it in the manifest, it is a common for all our application. Okay. And also you can use your
Yes, please go on.
and also you can use your editors. Like see here in the component, I mean in the manifest, we have written these things right by hand. But in the rapid development, you can use you can use your editor.
Mm-hmm.
There you can mention all your routes, routing. So in that way you can minimize your errors because we are going to anyways we enter in the editor.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way you can minimize your errors. But in this case, if we since it is a case sensitive and if some spelling mistake, then it will be a huge
Yeah,
issue
just
for us. Yeah.
okay.
So any doubts?
No, that's all. Thank you so much.
Okay. No problem. Okay, hopefully Monday will be our last class, I guess, because by today it should complete. But since we didn't have the class on Monday, so Monday would be our last class. We'll try to see the split app. Okay. Right now we have seen the app. We will see about the split app, how we are going to define the split app using the templates. So far we have defined from the scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use the template and then we can create the split app. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys. We'll see you on Monday.
Okay, Mohan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thank you, Mohan.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mohan.